I'd like to welcome everyone back. This is my second vlog post. The subject of it will be what my first week as a YouTuber has been like. First, I'd like to thank everyone who subscribed and watched my first two videos I posted last week. So, what have I learned in my first week? My first vlog was heavily scripted. There were just so many points I wanted to hit on, wanted to explain exactly what the channel was about and everything, that I wrote it out word for word. But it ended up being a nightmare to shoot. I couldn't remember more than a couple lines at a time. Towards the end, I was just wanted to get it finished, and you probably noticed that there were just so many edits so close together at the end. It was because I was just like saying one line, looking down, reading the next one, looking back up, and saying the next line. That does bring me to another thing that I learned is to give myself more lead-in before I start talking, so I actually have something to cut into. Now for this video, I've not actually written a full script. I've just given an outline, just to remind myself of the points I want to hit on. And then once I've referenced the outline, I'm just going off the top of my head and saying what I want to say about that point. I had another problem with the first video, and I've mentioned this in the post, is my camera is limited to 4 gig of continuous shooting. When it hits that point, it stops. I guess it just expects the person to be shooting to be behind the camera because it gives no indication that this has happened. What does happen is after the camera's not been used for a minute, it goes to sleep. I heard the shutter close, and I was like, oh, I guess I hit the 4 gig limit knowing that that did exist. And I got up and started it back up. What I didn't know is the camera had not been shooting for a minute, but because of my horrible not being able to deliver lines on time and lots of repetition that was actually going to be cut, I didn't lose too much, but and actually it wasn't even that important in the end. What I have now is a little fancy remote control that I can use to stop. I can use to stop and then restart the camera between each scene. Another thing I'd like to improve for the vlog videos is my lighting situation. Basically, I'm shooting in a room that has one overhead light, and I'm using a complicated system of mirrors to shine light up into my face for a little fill. I've placed an order for a softbox, and it should be here for my next video. On the instructional video front, I'm actually quite happy with how that first video turned out. I was actually using new software I had never used before. I experimented with it for a day or two just to make sure I understood how everything worked. I believe it's called Open Broadcaster software. I guess it's popular with Twitch people who stream games and things like that off their PC, but it works great for local capture too. In fact, it can do local capture and streaming at the same time. It's pretty neat. It's Open Broadcaster software. I'm not sure of the URL. Maybe I'll link to it below. I'd like to continue with the format of posting an instruction video in the middle of the week and a blog video on the weekend. I'll probably come up with a few other videos to fill in other places like a music production where I'm actually working on the songs that once I'm done this remix contest I'm in right now. And speaking of weekends, this video should have gone up sooner, but before I started to shoot it on Sunday night, I was like, oh, I'm a little hungry. I'll see if I can find something to eat around the house here. And I was like, oh, I have this poi. It's ground taro root. I'd never had it before, but people say it's bland. I don't mind bland food. So I mixed some up, and just after taking the first sip of it, it's just a soft mush. I was like, my throat feels a little scratchy. I was like, I'll eat a little more. It's like, but it was pretty disgusting tasting, even as bland food goes. So I was like, I'll just stop. Well, after that, I started getting itchy and getting hives popping up all over my body and everything else. I was like, this is just insane. So I Googled taro root allergies, and there's a report of someone suffering from anaphylaxis. And so I tweeted something about food allergy and anaphylaxis. And it turns out it was not actually that. It was just a histamine reaction, which is a whole lot better. You can go into shock from anaphylaxis. But yeah, that's actually the worst food reaction I've ever had to a food. I do have a minor milk protein allergy. If I eat cheese, basically I just get congested. But yeah, I've never actually broken out in hives from food, so that's something new. But I don't plan on repeating it. And on my first vlog post, there was a request for information on DSP coding, or digital signal processing. I really do want to do that, and I will. I just need to figure out some way that it's just not me sitting at a computer for 6 hours writing code and then compiling and going, look, it makes a sound. So I'll try to come up with just a little more exciting way to present that, but I definitely will get to it. Otherwise, keep the suggestions coming. Basically, I want to make stuff that you guys want to see, and without knowing what you want to see, I don't know what to make. One thing a few of you knows, I've recently moved into a house out of an apartment. This is a house I've been remodeling for a while. I just got serious about it because I was like, I'm tired of paying on 2 places. I need to get this place livable, so I finished up a few rooms. I'm in there now. I still have more work to go, but I'm in the place. So I'm definitely happy about that. It took most of October, November, December just to get it to the point where it is, where I can live in it. So that was taking up a good chunk of my time. So now that I'm actually here, I can just work on it more in my leisure. I definitely will get back into developing my rack extensions. I did get a message on Facebook from someone who was actually excited about the surround panner, so I'm happy about that. Also in the process of learning more about uploading videos to YouTube and everything with that, I actually found that YouTube does support 5.1 surround sound, so that'll be interesting. I'll be able to actually demo my surround panner and actually be able to rotate sounds around and move them around in the surround field, and actually demo it on YouTube for people who have the ability to play back 5.1. They do require you to include a stereo track along with the 5.1 for the majority of people who don't have their YouTube on surround sound, but for you who do, actually it'll be a little treat. Guess it's about time to wrap this video up. It is after 2 a.m. here. I have to wait until the middle of the night to shoot because while this room isn't my final location of the studio in the house, it's located on the front side of the building on the street, and every time a car goes by, it gets picked up by the microphone, so I have to make sure I'm only recording when there's no traffic, which in the middle of the night definitely has a lot less traffic. Again, I'd like to thank everyone who's subscribed. If you haven't, please feel free to. My first goal as a YouTuber is to reach 500 subscribers. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to find them all, but it is at the level 500 subscribers that your channel becomes slightly more visible to other channels and thus is able to attract viewers easier and thus get more subscribers, creating a whole snowball effect. Also, find me on Twitter and Facebook. In between the comments here and feedback given there, I'd like to know what you want to see. So I'm always active on all those. The notifications go right to my phone, so if you say something, I will likely reply. Now, I'm serious about the vitamin D. I'll get to that more in my biohacking videos, but it is important. I guess that's it, so goodbye for now.